Hi guys, hi, this is Marta with Universal Power Tarot, and these messages we bring you today are supposed to encourage, elevate, and empower you guys. Hi my friends, how are you? I hope everyone is safe and well. This is our new moon in Aquarius reading. That new moon is happening on the 1st of February 2022, which I found really interesting because it's a new month, the very first day of the new month, and a new moon, so that should be quite interesting. And I already tapped myself into the energies and drew 3 cards already, one from the Lightworker Oracle and 2 from the Guardian Angel cards. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm sitting in the reading, so this is quite significant. It was definitely about simplicity at first, because I was just like, I'm going to sit here without a table, without any tools really, except for the cards themselves, so very basic. And I'm sitting in the middle of this reading, and there's something about the structure of it too. I'll take a picture and post it in the community section, where it's just like this. It's like parallels. There's something about parallels that is happening. So that was really interesting. And then I received a bunch of other information, which I'm going to read to you now. So you are becoming or already standing in the fulfillment of whatever is happening right now, right? With regards to the setup here, you're in it. It's no longer about, tools per se in a sense, but it's much more becoming about you yourself being that huge tool. You will need less and less of, I almost want to say adhesive materials, and just fully stand it and own your truth, right? I was reminded of the time when I wasn't thinking. This was like right at the beginning of my awakening. It was crazy because I didn't have any thoughts whatsoever. It was just gone. And I was wondering almost immediately. First it was like, wow, it's happening. Something I've been waiting on because I wanted to feel better. That was the incentive, not to have spiritual experiences, but that's what happened to have happened. So the thoughts were wiped off, and my thought was, then as they came back in, how am I going to survive not being able to think? How am I going to, how are people going to react to me not being able to think? Because I thought, thinking was about survival, which it is in a way, because it's a different kind of a lifestyle when you are stuck in thinking. And Aquarius is all about the thought. It's air. It's the element of air, but also when you see the evolution, it's all about oneness. It's all about togetherness as well. So a question you can ask yourself here is the 20-year difference. How were you then, like 20 years ago, and how are you now? Like, how stable are you in your life? So again, we have the parallels again, because 20 is the 2, and we have parallels. To me is like coming in 2s, coming in pairs. So how are you different? How much more settled are you here on earth? Like, what has changed in your life? So there could be reoccurring patterns that are coming up for you, but in an elevated kind of a style. It's about dropping into the heart space. And this Aquarius new moon is propelling the age of Aquarius, as anything that has to do with Aquarius is apparently. That which you thought was secure no longer holds the same security or drops away entirely. It's about coming back to trust, back to center. So pull back, finding security within yourself and within your faith. And the faith grows as you see that you may no longer need what you thought was giving you security, as this is dropping away. We can talk about relationships, jobs, anything, money, for example, that you put your trust and faith in a way, but then it's being taken away, or it's being put to a test. Your faith is being put to test, and through that process your faith grows. Aquarius is the last sign, yeah, for sure. I said this already, togetherness, inclusiveness, it's about the all. And when you're setting intentions with your new moon, maybe you're doing a ritual. Sorry, there's so many butterflies around. I'm just like gonna keep looking at them as they come in. I hope it doesn't distract you. But it's about when you're setting the intentions, set intentions for the collective as well. Where do you want humanity to go? Where do you want this world to go towards? What are you envisioning? And dream big here. Dream big, because you're becoming more and more powerful. there's more space, it's less confined, because as you see, like this reading is huge already, like how I'm laying this out, and I'm sitting again right in the middle of it. So less confined, and it's about simplicity, coming out of the spiritual closet. This could be for some of you here, if you haven't dared to speak on your spirituality or spiritual experiences that you've had. It's about showing your gifts, and this is when it becomes complex again. Because this is when I was like in full acceptance of, okay, it's going to be simple, and then all of a sudden crystals wanted to come in, and then I made this as like a citrine, and it's in a wood. I don't know if you can see it. The lighting isn't that great here, so, but I wanted to sit in the shade. So I have the crystals here, and I'm sitting on the earth, so grounding is really, really important still, of course. Showing your gifts and a new way of living. So it's up to you now how you want to define your life, how you want your life to be really, and you can build that on a solid base for a lot of you, because you've done so much work already, that so much had to drop away already. So there can be reoccurrences, but only to propel you higher, you see. So topics can pop up that have been in your field for a while, and you may have thought that those are over, and then they can still like give you a kind of a rerun, but from a higher perspective. Or for example, you dropped out of a relationship, you're then entering into a new relationship with someone that matches your vibration at this stage, and then you have another go, right? And this is going to be very interesting, because like I said, where were you 20 years ago and where are you now? This is like a huge thing to think about. Your first card that we drew is Initiation by Water, and we have like a gorgeous angel here rising from the waters. It's almost, yeah. Oh, wow. This reminds me of Jesus and the resurrection. So there's something about resurrection. And then there's something Scorpio, of course, because there's something with the placements in your chart and with what is going on currently. So it's resurrection. It's like rising from the ashes, really. So let me read that to you. Initiation by Water. By the way, 23 is a huge number for me personally. It always shows up when I'm right, when something big is about to happen, right? So your spiritual path this lifetime involves you becoming a clear channel for spirit. You are meant to communicate with higher guidance from the loving spiritual worlds. Your initiation by water will further open your receiving channels, dislodge lower vibrational material, and sensitize you to subtle realms of light. You are being open to a world of which you may only have dreamt. Such is its beauty, grace, and love. Situations have been arising in your world that evoke emotional reactions and challenge your opinions and beliefs. You may not feel in control. You may feel like your world, your own emotions have become like a stormy sea in which you are tossed about, and you are doing your best not to drown in the chaos. Yet you are not to fear it. It is stirring that which has been held within, so it can be released. The storm will pass, and the waters of your emotions shall become more serene. I can definitely attest to that, not detest. Although you may detest what's happening, I can attest to that definitely. Then it's stormy, and then it's after that it's calm. And it's like that inner peace becomes really, really strong. And that's quite the amazing feeling, where the outside is less and less able to face you in any way, because you're so secure in your faith and within yourself. And that is something that money cannot buy. You can throw down as much money as you want, as much resources as you want, but that's something that can only be achieved through doing the work. And yeah, and being, graceful and being very present. You could compare the process to a glass of water with muddy sediment at the bottom. The water appears clear as the mud is left to lie. Yet once the water gets stirred up, the mud rises. Then it can be filtered out, and the water will be clearer than ever before. The turbulence was a step that led to greater clarity. And that's it. Of course, the water in the glass are comparable to emotional waters. No, that's it. They're saying that's it. So remember, like, this is, even though you may be in the midst of it right now, It'll come to pass. Really think of that water, or just do it, Drop some mud in water and see what happens when you stir it up. But also be sure that this is not the end process, but it's just a stage. It's just a stage that's going to help you purify more and more. Wow, there's a huge yellow butterfly right now that just landed. The butterflies here are so beautiful, and the hummingbirds and everything. And another card we drew is peace for you. So calm your thoughts, of course, and move your awareness to a peaceful space inside your heart. Feel the ebb and flow of love, the eternal movement of the stars. Your life is forever unfolding to greater spheres of love. Relax and do not worry about anything, for all is well. Yeah, you will soon enter a time of well-earned peace and tranquility. Very nice. Not yet. The other one is courage, and I'll read that one to you when they say I should. Let's go to the tarot. Let's see what's going on. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Seven of Pentacles. So, yeah, there's some hard work that you're doing right now where you did expect results, but they don't seem to be showing up quite yet. But this, I feel, is in the past position here. It's in because he's looking outside of the reading. It's like something that you've been working on, but that hasn't quite come to fruition. So that could be a project of yours. It could be a relationship that you invested a lot in. There is investment for sure. And the thing is, though, the man in the card doesn't see the crops yet because they're growing, right? They may not bear fruits quite yet, but this is an illusion, is what they're saying. It's an illusion because it's already there. It is there. You can already look at it and enjoy it. It's much like you may not be able to eat them at this very moment, but you can already look at them and see the fruits of your labor, so to speak, like watching a plant grow and really finding joy in, let's say, all the butterflies that come in, the bees that come in the beauty of the leaves that start to sprout, all that thing. There's a huge message of really taking time to have a look at your process and start to find enjoyment in that process, because it's not about a certain goal. It is about the path. And so you need to find those pockets that you take very deliberately throughout your day, where you take 5 minutes, let's say, right? Or you can extend it for however long you want to. But to make it like a process that you do almost every day, or every day optimally. Sometimes it helps to make them a little bit more short so you can stay with them, because otherwise after a week you'll be like, okay, I'm doing this for 2 hours every day. But it's great, but I just can't, continue doing that. So I really recommend finding something that really works for you and your schedule. Yeah. No, okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, wow. Yeah, here we have the 20-year period. We have the Emperor out, so the one that takes charge, the one that knows what's going on. Not gender specific, although it's quite significant that we have all male energy here. So I'm strongly feeling like the divine masculine is very much evolving here within ourselves, externally as well as internally. And that also could bring up a lot of shadow, because the Emperor, if you have it in reverse, it's quite controlling, right? But there's a movement away from this, and they're drawing my eye to the backside of the card where there's stuff growing. Remember that it's growing. It may be stirred up right now, much like what's happening in the world, but so we can have a look at it and then filter it out and be like, I don't want this. I want something else. And then manifest it, because you do have the power. You absolutely do have the power. And the Emperor always is thinking about not only himself, but also about those around him, because he wants everyone to strive and to thrive in their empire, because he knows, like, the empire is only as strong as its weakest link. And there's a lot of care that comes with that. So if you are in a position, take care of those around you that that need assistance, or that feel weaker in a sense, or that just are in need of something. If you can give it right now without being that to your own detriment, please do so. And that's also like the Aquarian push here as well, to include more and more, but please yourself first, okay? You cannot give from an empty cup. That's not how this works. And his Aries energy too. And this one is looking at the other one. That's the interesting part here as well. Have a look. Like he's looking at him because it's 20 years later, and he's like, wow, it was so worth it, right? I didn't understand back then. I didn't see the crops back then, but I sure do now. How significant also for, again, for setting your intentions for now, because there's going to be another 20 year later, right? Another point where you can check in with yourself, or make that 5 years, but they just specifically gave me 20 years. Just, I think because it's just so significant that you will actually see it in, how do you call that? When the time just shrinks in a way and you are able to see over the past 20 years, and then 20 years in the future, this one may change into something else completely, right? It's also about multidimensionality, about people coming more and more and understanding more and more their divine selves, their multidimensionality, and how this already exists, and 20 years after that already exists, and 20 years after that, and 200 years after that already exists. Like all of those are parallel, and they're happening. Oh yeah, parallel. Jesus, yes, parallel. Like the setup of the reading. Those are happening simultaneously, parallel. Yeah. So there's also a message to tap into the other selves of yourself, to be more secure in what you're doing, and to know, to be absolutely 1000% sure that this is going to be of great success, what you're doing, even though in the moment you may not see it. And when we make that a bit further over several lifetimes, like they just stated, the 200-year mark, be sure that that work that you're doing has an effect. Like, know it and trust it. It's not for nothing that you're doing this work, okay? I really want to stress this. And now I can feel the throat again. So being able to express yourself, to stand fully in your truth here. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles. So that new beginning, that very fruitful new beginning actually, but this is a solid base. So anything that wasn't of value, that wasn't solid, Spirit wanted that to crumble for you, right? So there was something that needed to crumble, that needed to go, so you can have this new beginning. Because you can't build something extremely, you could, something extremely beautiful, but then it would crumble. So what's the worth in that? So rather, like, wipe that slate clean. So a lot of clearing is happening right now, because they keep bringing up that word, clearing, so that you can finally build on a solid base. Yeah. Courage. Now they want me to read to you Courage, and then we'll take it over to the extended. Dare to be different, to make mistakes. Create, for it is in creation that you exist. In this world of dreams, the stem from the eternal heart, you are one with all creation. All is possible. Go forth and be true to yourself. For it is only through being true to you that you can be true to others. Oh, I love that so much, because there's so much understanding in this card as well. And having walked that path, you do understand others so much better, because you do understand your own emotions so much better, your own shadow self so much better, or shadow selves, shadow parts. And hence you can see them and spot them in others, and then there's so much more compassion and wisdom that's arising from that place, because you can see when someone's triggered out of trauma, for example, and you can, you're like, which before you may have taken it personally, and then all of a sudden it's just like, they're triggered, it's got nothing to do with me. Or maybe this is the part where I come in, if I'm still triggered personally. But if I'm not, it's just like, cool, I can hold this space and I can step back and let them sort it out, and then they'll come back, maybe not. But this is an interesting place to be in, for sure. All right, so we'll take this over to the extended. Over on Patreon, if you want to join, it's $11.11 per month for every extended that is created within that month. You can join and leave whenever you choose to. Just please remember that at the end of the month, Patreon will charge you as soon as you join. But when you, if you don't want to be charged again at the first, because that's what's happening, Patreon is always charging on the first, then I recommend waiting till the first, but that's up to you. But it says in the tiny caption as well. And if you still want to take advantage of the 20% off of the private readings, it's still going on for 3 days. I can book you in. There's a little bit of a waiting period, I reckon, but not that long. And yeah, 3 more days with the 20% off. And yeah, I'm sending you so much love, and can't wait to see whatever else wants to come out in the extended over on Patreon. So much love, light, and shadow. Bye, guys.